Last month I made my first cigar box guitar. I'm going to walk you through how I made it. It's more of an arts and crafts project than like a technical building thing. It's super simple. So I have it taken apart right now. This is just a cigar box. Just a cigar box. I cut these two notches out of it. These notches out of it, that's where the neck sits. I got the strings on it right now. I don't want to take the strings off, so this might be a little tricky to understand what's going on, but basically I just cut a notch with a coping saw the length of the lid, and it's all messy and nasty. It looks like a beaver chewed it out, but that's the best I was going to do using just hand tools and not knowing what I was doing. The pickup is just this piezo that I soldered to this jack, and I have it apart for two reasons. So number one is the piezo works as a contact mic, so every time my pick hits the lid of the box, like where the pick guard area would be, it gets this tapping noise. So I'm going to try to do something about that to see if I can get rid of that tapping noise. And then also, as long as I have it open, I'm going to put an extra bead of solder on the insides of the jack. I have it kind of on the outside of the contacts. And I want to add a little bit more in there. More like that. Big old gobs. Then, to fix that tapping noise from the contact mic, I'm going to try getting the piezo so it's not directly on the lid. Put a little bit of a buffer in there. And I'm just going to use some old weather stripping. Just put a... so that the piezo will be on top of that, and then that'll be on top of the lid. So that's my new piezo setup. There's chunks of weather stripping. There's an adhesive right on the one side of the weather stripping, and then I just duct tape the piezo back on top. Okay, I closed it back up. It's just closed with packing tape and skateboard stickers. The one thing that I also did while I had it open was this jack. See, the music comes out of this alien's brain, but this jack like spins. It's like free spinning in here. So I don't know if you can see it, but I took a Sharpie and I just colored in the top head, the face on the bolt. So that way I can always look down and see if it's gotten twisted, because if it twists too far, I think it might pop out the solder or pull the piezo off of the foam or something like that. But yep, cigar box for the body. Just cut out the space for the neck to sit, and then cut that gouge out of the underside of the neck so that it can be up against the body. If I was doing this a little better, it should all fit tight and flush. For the string retainers at the tail, I just drilled a hole through there and just threaded them through. The bridge and the nut are just both threaded rods. I kind of want the action a little higher on this, so I think I'm just going to get a higher diameter set of rods. But as long as they're the same diameter, right, you got an even action. There is one screw in the middle just to hold the center string in the right place, because otherwise, you know, it comes from the middle, but the tuner's on the outside edge. So kind of, you know, the outside strings will run parallel, but the inside one will kind of do like this, like a triangle as it comes up. So I put that screw in there just to hold it so that all three strings would stay parallel. And then the tuners are the only thing that I bought. I got them on cbgiddy.com, but they're only like $6.50 for the tuners. And you actually need tuners. I've seen some people do like you'll need like real tuners. I've seen online people doing for fun, like, you know, eye hooks and floating in a bolt or something like that for a tuner, but The problem with it, from everything that I'm reading, and it makes sense if you think about it, is that to get something in tune, you need like really fine little adjustments, right? A tuner takes a big turn and transfer it into a small motion on that screw. You move the peg a large amount and it tightens the string a smaller amount, because you need really fine micro adjustments to get it right. So just a eye hook floating in a bolt is like too crude. It doesn't get exactly finesse the way you want it. So I guess it's not a particularly good way to keep it in tune. So I actually bought tuners, but it gives me a reason now to watch out for it. Garage sales and stuff, busted guitars and ukuleles, because you can, even if the rest of the body is destroyed, the tuners are still reusable. Yeah, that was it. It's like an arts and crafts project. I used all hand tools except for the drill, and it was pretty easy. It took like a day. The only work you really do is on the neck. You know what I mean? Like cutting that scoop out from where it's going to sit in the body, and cutting that head stock out. I did that with the Copeland saw too. That's the only really work on it. As long as you get the head right, the rest of it just sits on the head, right? Or on, I'm sorry, the neck. As long as you get the neck right, the rest of the whole guitar is just attached to that neck. So the weather stripping did not take care of the tapping problem. Still comes out, so that, you know, if you hit your pick and accidentally glance off of that, you get an extra little percussive noise. But I do think it made the tone a little better, or a little cleaner sounding, having it raised up like that off that thing. But yeah, it's pretty sensitive. I mean, like if I just tap the tailpiece, the pickup still gets it, so that's life. But I think I could also, if I raise the action, then I won't have as many taps against the guard area. But I still like the sound of it. Like, I like that it sounds kind of screwy and vaguely out of tune and dirty and nasty. It's kind of the tone of it and the appeal of it. And when I play, I find myself like really leaning into it. Like it's kind of punk. You just, if it's a little bit of out of tune, a little bit snarly, that's kind of the character of it, right? So.